When you feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be something, yeah. Well, all you really need is hope. I just want you to trust me if you wanna be something. That's right. Let's go. Yeah, when you're feeling down and you're out, like you got nothing but doubt, you're alone in the crowd, just trying to figure it out. All that is cloud and this money got you feeling left out. Listen up to me now, every word that's out of my mouth. Wake up, it's me, you're gonna follow your dreams, or are you just gonna be another cog in the scene? You feel the hope in this beat, yeah, the hope that you need to proceed and be exactly what you want it to be. I feel right and I'm proud, hype and I'm loud, I'ma shout all about how I feel in the now. Ain't nobody ever gonna try to change me, till I'm dead pushing up daisies. I'm alone in the crowd, I won't feel down. I got hope right now, and I know I'll be found. I don't really care just what all other haters gotta say. I know everything I do is gonna make them fade away, yeah. And when you feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be something, yeah. Well, all you really need is hope. I just want you to trust me if you wanna be something, yeah. Then all you really need is hope. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, it's what you need when you're down, need when you're out. It's what you need when you're sad and when you feel left out. You feel an energy drought and then creeps out, but with a little bit of hope you can figure it out. Keep your head high even when you're down inside. Through the pain you fight and through the painful nights, you keep striving, keep trying, keep driving, rising, keep thriving, surviving. Nothing's in your way but yourself. Don't need nobody's help. You can make it through this hell. Take it one step at a time, one step as you climb. If you fail, you'll be fine. Get back up to the grind and never lose sight of your mission. Be driven. This life is a prison if you don't have vision. You're in it to win it, so get it, don't miss it. Your chances now, so be something somehow. Don't let yourself down, 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 down.
Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing? Hello, hello. Hi in the bushes. Hi, Lioness. Hi, Daddy's baby girl. Hi, Seal. Hi, Emily. Hi, Dina. Hi, B Tim. Hello, Roberta. Good to see you guys. Hi, Ocean Tide. Hi, BC. So, guys, gonna do kind of a briefish kind of update because I do work this evening. I want to say Happy Father's Day to everybody out there who are dads. I don't know if there are any of you guys in this audience right now, but Happy Father's Day to all of you. We had a really good Father's Day this afternoon and kind of chillaxing now. Most of the house is asleep, to be completely honest. They all just kind of crashed after the day's activities and figured I'd jump live before I have to start work. So, hi, Catherine. Hi, Libby. Um, and so, yeah. But as far as the affidavit goes for Maddie's case for Stefan Stearns, I'm going to start going through that hopefully tomorrow. Um, and we will see where everything goes from there. I want to make sure that I have a decent block of time set aside for that. I have gotten through almost the whole affidavit at this point and taken notes on a lot of it. And I'm going to tell you the things that I have learned so far is that they were on to Stefan Stearns very, very quickly. I mean, almost instantly in that case. Making sure that they were looking into every in and out and everything that had to do with him. They had red flags right off the bat, and and so it's good to know that police were instantly onto him and investigating the crimes appropriately. They have now said that they are going to pursue the death penalty in that case, and so that's great news. Monsters like that, these people who harm children, need these harsher penalties. Part of the reason I think that we have as many issues as we do with people preying on children and doing these things to children is because the penalties are not harsh enough. I actually seen a case earlier today. It was two Wisconsin teachers who put themselves on administrative leave. They had resigned and things like that because they are being investigated for propositioning two students for a foursome, two teachers involved in it. And here's the kicker, it was women. It was women teachers that were doing it. The one had already, kissed the one boy and let him drive a school vehicle around the property and things like that. The other, well, I'll just pull up the article real quick and go into it. But these people are everywhere. These people who are preying on our children, and it goes to show no matter what somebody looks like, they don't have to look creepy. They could still be a child predator. And so we really got to be mindful of our kids and what they're doing, and the different ways that these people can get your children alone. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Because it's just everywhere. It's just so widespread. And whenever it comes down to it, these let me see, here it is. Yeah, I know, how insane. It's getting ridiculous. My pastor was doing a message today about, well, obviously for Father's Day, he was preaching a little bit about Father's Day and things like that. And he was talking about, you know, if you don't discipline situations and you don't teach people right from an early age, then they grow up always knowing the wrong thing and doing the wrong thing and stuff like that. And it gets to a point where it gets out of control, and then it makes it that much harder to get back in control. And I think that these predators, it's the same way. We don't have these harsh punishments, we don't have harsh laws in a lot of these states these against these actions, against these predators that are going after our young children and our teens, and because of that it's become widespread and just common. I mean, these two women were going to do this together with two students. So let me just see what this video does, and we'll go from there.
Hello to this glorious morning in nature. Can you feel the energy? The verve, the giddy thrill at waking up and being
I'm of the strong opinion that if they had harsher crimes to begin with, if they had harsher crimes to begin with, then more people would be afraid to do stuff like this. You think you're going to lose your life if you hurt somebody, then maybe you wouldn't do it. And I know that there are a lot of people who are anti death penalty and things like that, but this is what we're creating all over society. We give people a slap on the wrist because our jails are full. Well, our jails are full because we don't have the death penalty and because we don't have reform after they're out. And so they go into prison for whatever crime they have committed, and they come right back out and they go right back to a life of crime because they can't get jobs, they can't get whatever. And it's just a never ending cycle. Never ending cycle.
In April, we previously reported two Janesville Craig teachers were on leave. Well, we now know both of those teachers resigned. The school board voted to accept the resignation of Alexia Salderis back in April 22nd, and Jennifer Larson's resignation came in on May 14th. This is also the first confirmation from the district we have of both teachers' names. We know Larson was a business education teacher with the Janesville School District for 11 years. Salderis, also a business education teacher with the district for 1 year. The school district tells us this is still an open investigation.
All right, let me show you this one instead. This one's a little bit more in depth. It's from Law and Crime, so credit Law and Crime for this. They did a video on this.
From Wisconsin are out of a job and they could face criminal charges after they're accused of messaging a student.
I mean, look at them. I mean, they are just young, beautiful women, right? Young, beautiful women. Would you look at these women if they were out on the street and they were just walking around and think, "Oh, that's a child, you know, sex offender. That's a predator that's going to try to get my teenage boy in bed or my teenage daughter in bed." Like, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't think, anything like that looking at them. Now, I will say that the blonde, she's clearly very young, probably newish out of college. But it's still, it does not make it acceptable. You're talking at her age, I mean, coming from college, let's see, probably 4-year college, maybe less because you can get a degree quicker than that. And now to be a teacher in most places, you just have to have a degree. So she doesn't necessarily have to have a 4-year. So she could be what, 20 to 2 ish in that age range. Does that make it okay for her to be propositioning a student? I mean, does there need to be rules about teachers being a little bit older? She propositioned a student to do things with him.
To arrange a foursome. I have the details of what the teachers are accused of doing on a school trip. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. Alexia Salderas and Jennifer Larson were teachers at Joseph Craig High School in Janesville, Wisconsin, until the spring. The school district of Janesville launched an investigation of the two teachers in April. Records released by the district show that Salderas and Larson attended a state DECA trip with students in February. No big deal. That's what teachers do. They go on school trips with students, they supervise. But what happened in early April is what resulted in them being placed on leave. Between April 7th and April 9th, on another trip, the records show that Larson and Salderas were Snapchatting with a student identified only as student A.
All right, I'm just going to read through it so that we can a little bit so that we can speed up the process a little bit. But so it says that they were Snapchatting student A. They wanted to cuddle and have fun and asked if they would bring another student to come with them. So then AS provided the keys to student A to the district van to allow to get their clothes. Students get in the van. AS gives permission to the student to take a lap in the parking lot. A video of the drive is taken by one of the student attendees. The same day, AS is changing her shoes by the back of the van. AS and the student shared half a kiss. Like, she was hardcore, propositioning him. And again, you know, we're looking at, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just sad. It's just so widespread. And so, yeah, I think that there needs to be harsher punishments across the board. So, but I'm going to drop the link for this. If anybody wants to watch this whole thing, I don't want to play her whole 14-minute video because that's not what we're talking about. But this woman sent lingerie pictures. She sent all kinds of things via Snapchat to this student. And what ended up happening was another student seen the pictures and reported it, and that's how they got busted. You have Snapchat chat. You barely use it. Yeah, Snapchat is, ugh, it's just rough. Okay, but anyways, so we're going to talk about Miya today. I did cover her the other day. She was a missing 8-month-old baby. And unfortunately, she has at this point been found deceased. And so I want to show you guys a few things from when she was found, and then also a couple videos. Now, I do mention that there was more arrests made, and that was 3 days ago. No, 4 days ago now, that her other grandparents were arrested. So, here's this. Now, the other grandparents are who allegedly had her siblings after the mom lost custody. We are hearing that the siblings are with the aunt now that had initially reported Miya missing. Miya had not been seen for about a month, and the aunt was concerned. So she reached out to CPS and the local authorities to find out, for them to do a wellness check on Miya and hopefully find her location. After they did not find Miya is when this investigation ensued and when they let the public know that Miya was missing. There's a lot of backlash going towards this aunt. People are saying a lot of hateful, nasty comments about, like, why didn't she know sooner? Why didn't she notify them? Why didn't she do more? And it's not something, honestly, some of these kids go months or years before anybody notices that they're missing. I want to remind you guys of Harmony Montgomery's case. Um, she went literal years. Oakley Carlson went a year. Serenity McKinney went, I want to say it was 6 months. And I mean, usually it takes a much longer time frame. And so I'm thankful that this aunt was able to report her missing in just a month. You got to think about how busy your life is. If in 1 month you didn't see your sibling with their children, would you automatically think that something foul playish happened in a month time frame? I wouldn't. I don't see my brother and his daughter. I probably see them like 3, 4 times a year. And so that's something to keep in mind. You know, people are busy, there's lifestyles and things like that, work, their own kids. So I don't fault her for taking a month to report her missing. I don't know. I've been reading a lot of the backlash. It just doesn't seem fair to me because at least she said something when she did. But here is the video about
glorious morning in nature.
just kidding. Here's another ad for Nature's Way. Apparently, we're all having Nature's Way today. But here's another video about the arrest of the other set of grandparents. Now, these would be on mom's side of the family, this arrest here. Now, I will tell you that this arrest, by the news, it kind of looked at first like it was an arrest that had to do with Maya's disappearance as well. It's not. It's actually on outstanding warrants that they had from previous issues that they had with the law. They are already out on bond. They are no longer in jail. But I will tell you that the 3 siblings of Maya are not in their custody still. They have been. They are with the aunt. So.
Rudd have now been arrested.
Kentucky State Police troopers tell us they served a search warrant in the area of 1300 Litchfield Road. That's where Mitch Carter is for us right now. So, Mitch, what else can you tell us about this latest development from the KSP?
Yeah, well, Randy, Brienne, like you said, a big twist now in the case in that search for missing Ohio County 8-month-old Miya Rudd. Like you mentioned there, here on Litchfield Road in Owensboro, law enforcement just conducted a search warrant at this house here that we now know, like you said, Brienne, is the maternal grandparents' home, maternal grandparents, that is, of Miya Rudd. Now, this is a calm scene now, but what I want to show you here within the last hour, some video we have of the big police presence here. And while you see it on your screen, I'm going to walk you through this case so far and what I've seen and what I've learned in my week of covering it. Like I just mentioned there, we've now reached a week since KSP began searching for baby Miya, but we know she's been missing for at least a month after family alerted law enforcement that they hadn't seen her since April. We now know family services removed her 3 older siblings some time ago, and they were in the process of removing Miya, whose umbilical cord tested positive for meth when she was born, while her siblings, according to KSP, were living here with her maternal grandparents on Litchfield. At the conclusion of that search warrant, we now know both those maternal grandparents, like we've been saying, have been arrested on unrelated warrants. As for Miya's 3 older siblings, those kids have now also been removed by social services. So to recap here, a very
So I think it's important to notate that one thing that the aunt has made clear on her Facebook page is that the children have not touched foster care. They did get removed but whenever the grandparents were actually arrested, I believe they were already with the aunt. I don't know why they were with the aunt, if they had arranged for that so that the kids weren't there whenever the police were there. I'm not sure. But the aunt has the kids. They did not go to foster care. They are simply just moved from one family's house to the other. I'm sure that there was CPS involvement in that still to make sure that she, had a fit residence and things like that. I'm sure CPS is going to be on top of making sure they don't fail these children in this family yet again by putting them into another bad type of situation. So, but I did just want to notate that because there has been a lot of misinformation surrounding their location, surrounding what happened, saying that they were in foster care now and all the different things. Like, no, they are safe. They are with the aunt. So.
Convoluted, a very confusing case here. The arrest count since this investigation began looking for Miya is now up to 7. Like I just mentioned there, though, these grandparents here arrested on unrelated warrants. However, their arrests come, of course, in conclusion here and in the process of looking for Miya. Now, like I just mentioned there, KSP, of course, searched this home. Now, they say they took some items of interest here. However, unfortunately, still no sign of Miya. So once again, just to reiterate, like we said all week here, KSP is still searching. She's got brown hair and green eyes. She's 8 months old. If you know anything about her whereabouts, or if you perhaps are harboring the child for the family, they don't want to get you in trouble. They don't want to charge you. They just want to bring her back home. For now, though, I'll send it back to you guys. We're going to continue to follow this story here in Davis County. Reporting live, Mitch Carter, 14 News.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was somebody connected to all of this, hearing that 7 people have been arrested looking for this baby, whenever all this was going on, I probably would have been like, not a chance, because they are finding everything in people's past. Like, I mean, they obviously took them in on warrants that they had been out free for years, with nobody ever looking for them, and then of course, they just so happened to arrest what I am presuming, this is just my opinion of the situation, but somebody who was involved with drugs, we'll just say it that way. And then the other 2 grandparents, whenever they went there, they just so happened to be able to arrest that third guy who just who just was there, whenever they went to the other grandparents' house, and now we're on arrest number 7. It's just tragic. It's honestly tragic that this is honestly America, guys. This is this is the reality of a lot of people's families. This is the reality of a lot of homes and a lot of the children that are growing up in our country because of this nonstop epidemic with drugs, and just it just sucks. It just honest to goodness sucks. She really didn't have a chance. And there's actually a petition that somebody has started because of the fact that she didn't have a chance. It's just sad. So we'll talk about that petition in a second, though. So here is the initial video that the news put out whenever they had found her remains inside of that Kentucky home. Now, they were searching not too far from there already, and then they did go ahead and find her.
We interrupt programming to bring you some breaking news right now. Within the past few minutes, there has been a major development in the search for 8-month-old Miya Rudd. Kentucky State Police has just announced they believe they have found her remains. 44 News reporter Aaliyah Malero is live in Ohio County with what she's learned. Aaliyah.
That's exactly right, Elegance. As of 1:15, they actually found remains of the baby inside the house. And right now, where I'm going to step aside, just kind of show you the scene right now. A lot of law enforcement, the Kentucky Medical Examiner's Office, they've been here all day, and they've really just been trying to sift through. And they said they were going to exhaust those options of looking into the home. They were going to search everywhere. They were searching every single part of the home to try and find evidence. And that's exactly what they did today. They were able to scour through all the areas, and they were able to find remains of the body. Now, that's all they're releasing at this moment. It came in at 1:15. Once again, we're still trying to work to learn a little bit more. But once again, this is an ongoing investigation. So that's what we have for right now. But right now, this is all in connection to Miya Rudd, the 8-month-old baby who's been missing and was last seen in April.
Oh, I totally picked one that cuts off. Hi, Emily, by the way. Hi, Amber. Hi, Ramblin'. I know, yeah, these cases, it's just so many. It's so many. But the only way that we can, uh, it's like it's a double-edged sword, because we are somewhere between, we need the knowledge of these cases to be out there and to talk about it so that more people realize that this is real, right? A lot of people look at these situations as if it'll never happen to me, it'll never happen in my family, oh well, my cousin might have a drug issue, but she loves her kids. I know she would never hurt them, blah blah blah. And we don't know what happened to Miya, right? We don't know if she was intentionally murdered, if she was neglected to death, if she touched, for example, a drug like fentanyl or whatever. We have no clue what happened to her at this point. I'm not saying that, but this lifestyle is dangerous, right? And we see so many children fall victims to this lifestyle. And so, with it being so widespread, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it so that if it's happening in your surroundings, watch out for that kid a little bit more. If your friend stops coming over with their baby all of a sudden, pay attention to that. Pay attention to the people in your life. If you know somebody who has their kid with them every single day, and then all of a sudden they don't have their baby, pay attention to that. We But then it becomes entertainment in some of these cases, and it becomes it's a laughing stock. And so it's a double-edged sword. Like, we got to find that happy balance between it, because we need the information, we need the knowledge, we need to figure out the whys and the hows and the whats and the whatever. And a lot of us just have this morbid curiosity. We just want to know all the details, right? It's the car crash situation. We all want to stop and stare at the horrible situation. Um but we got to be careful. It's a fine line. It's a fine line between entertainment and people's reality.
Have been arrested for various charges. If you're able to say, are they giving conflicting reports of where the baby is? Are they just not talking? Are they saying they don't know?
Yeah, it's my understanding that the first set of grandparents was.
I'm going to take that back so that I can volume boost this. Let me just move stuff around real quick, because I have to share my screen different. But the questions are a little bit quiet, and I forgot that they were a little bit quiet. So give me just 1 second, because I want you guys to be able to hear the questions too. Okay.
Say, are they giving conflicting reports of where the baby is? Are they just not talking? Are they saying they don't know?
Yeah, it's my understanding that the first set of grandparents was just as cooperative as the parents, which is non-existent essentially. The second set of grandparents were alluding to different conflicting information, so it wasn't overly helpful. It's nothing that changed the direction of this investigation, but it's completely sad that you have family that goes this deep in the family tree that's not willing to cooperate with a baby's investigation. It's saddening, and I can't say that I've quite seen it like this before.
Now, this officer, sorry if I just ear blasted you, I apologize. This officer, though, he references the family and the the drug issues in their background and different things like that a couple times throughout this press conference and the other press conference and things like that. The generational effects and just the reality that this is happening in a lot of homes and in a lot of lifestyles. And 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 I understand his point, but it also makes it appear as if every person connected to this family has that same lifestyle. And from what I can tell, that's just not the case, right? She does still have an aunt that was able to take custody of the three siblings, that has custody of her own children, and that cared enough to report her missing. And so it's not everybody connected to this family that is necessarily involved in this lifestyle. A lot of people are upset because the aunt did start a GoFundMe after she was located, because obviously they didn't have financial means to do a funeral and things like that. At this point, the funeral home has offered, they are going to take care of the services, which has been updated on the GoFundMe fundraiser. And they have raised $6,710. The aunt did put up an update. She says, updated, we have spoken to Glen Funeral Home, and they are going to take care of the funeral for sweet baby Maya for us. Anything that it has been or that is donated to the GoFundMe or directly to the funeral home will be put into a trust fund for the other three siblings. We will be creating the trust fund this week. Please do not start sending donations to the Glen Funeral Home until we have created the trust fund, and provide Glenn with the information for where the donations will need to be sent, or until we update this, as the funeral home has instructed us to do so. We appreciate all the continued prayers, supports, and donations. And so it has nothing to do with like a cash grab and things like that. It started out to take care of the expenses for this child. And now that the expenses are going to be taken care of, which thank you, Glen Funeral Home, if anybody is watching from there to check out the coverage on this case or anything like that, that it's a blessing whenever these families do have somebody step in and take care of those final expenses and things like that. But now that that has happened, it's just going to go to benefit the siblings, which is good. That's how it should be. Hi, Cooter G.
Are you able to say which family members came forward with the original
I'm
request
not.
for welfare check?
Yeah, I'm not sure it was a family member. It may be someone close to the family, but that's what prompted our investigation. Was someone said, "Hey, they have a baby, and we haven't seen this child since the end of April." And at the end of May is when we got that information. So we started that investigation, I think around May 30th, 1st of June, somewhere in that range. And that's where we're at today, is sifting through debris and just to see if there is something there. So the medical examiner, as well as the investigators, are looking for anything that could be even the most minute evidence that could suggest it's human. And the medical examiner's right there to help us determine whether this is human. And that's why we have him here.
And at this residence, who lived here in this home?
This residence was the Rudds, both Tesla and Cage, and also Ricky Smith and I think the grandmother. Don't know the relationship, if they're married, if they're, I'm not sure, but she very well could have lived here too. The gentleman we charged last night resided in what they consider the bunkhouse, which is the RV you see behind me, and that's where he was running the drug operation from. So this was all tied in and linked to a larger drug trafficking ring, and that's hence the reason why we charge him with organized crime.
And I know there was something with the umbilical cord, and I kind of wanted to ask that question. I know meth was found in the umbilical cord. How does that typically? I guess the sequence of those events is probably what I need clarified. Is okay. So baby was born, and meth was found in the umbilical cord. Did Child Protective Services then get involved, and that's where the welfare check came in? Or?
Yeah, that's a little bit out of my area
Okay.
because we don't deal a lot with Child Protective Services. It was my understanding that the baby was born, they tested, but they don't get the results back instantly. So it wasn't until a week or so later did they determine, okay, the mother was under the influence of methamphetamine during the time of this baby being born. So I think at that point, social services did what they were trying to do and yet removed this child like the previous three. And they could never find the family. Either they were moving frequently, perhaps they were going to the motel that we discovered them at, and they were unaware of their location or could never catch up to them to remove this child. I'd assume the family knew that's what was going to happen, and that's why they were likely on the run.
If today's searches don't yield any results, what's the next step for you guys?
Well, I haven't spoken to the investigator, but I think they're really going to exhaust this location pretty heavily. And at that point, they're with the two other locations, we're going to move down from those two locations. It is a location that water can swiftly come through. And so if there was something as small as a baby, very well could have washed downstream, and they're going to search from there. So I think the main location is a debris field on two different locations that could be a good source to look. And if they're not hitting much, or even if they got some type of hit from these canines, but yet nothing was discovered, we'll go down from there.
Yeah. So Seal pointed out that this has happened before in Kentucky. That it's been an issue. Angel Overstreet was born also with opioids in her system, and even though she was not genetically tied to Shannon Overstreet, her mom was allowed to decide who got custody of her child just by putting him on the birth certificate. And by him taking Angel on the birth certificate, the mom was, or her mom was still able to be in contact with Angel that she shouldn't have had. And Shannon was never properly investigated. And then her biological father, uh, her biological father's family had a DNA test taken because they wanted custody of Angel, and Shannon killed killed her and got rid of her remains. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Ramblin. Talking about babies, and he's talking about freaking debris locations. It's like, are you kidding me? It's just sad. The whole situation is just disgusting. This baby never had a chance, though. She never had a chance. They sent her into a home that was already declared to be unfit. This mom was already declared as unfit to raise children. Tesla has already said that she could not raise children because she was on drugs, because she had these issues. The baby was born with freaking drugs in her system and yet was able to just go home with her. How does that happen? You want to talk about cracks. This baby did not slip through the cracks. This baby was taken to an edge and hurled off the side of it to her death. She did not even have a chance. That's just my opinion. And it's disgusting. Yeah, they were cooking meth. Who knows what she could have possibly died from? We don't know the information yet, and we probably won't know right away. But the issue is, it should have never happened. She should have never been in that home. Period. That's it. That's all. Somebody did start a petition because they agree with that. I I understand why people do petitions because it's supposed to motivate and drive us and things like that, so that we can get behind a cause and we can sign these petitions. But you know what happens in too many freaking cases, you guys? We pass around these petitions, we get thousands of signatures on these petitions. Petitions are given to lawmakers. Lawmakers are draft laws, and then the hype goes away because another child case pops up, and then none of the laws get passed through, and it happens to another kid and another kid and another kid, and it's a never-ending freaking cycle. I'm so tired of watching petitions go to laws and then not get passed through, like in Ariel Sellers' case, like in so many of these cases where they claim that they're going to change the system long enough to get your votes, long enough to quiet down the public scrutiny, long enough for people to forget about the case, and then nothing changes and the next baby dies over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's infuriating. It's absolutely infuriating. But here is the next petition. Here is the next case that we're going to have Maya's Law now. How many children cases have you followed that we have proposed or seen people propose laws in honor of that child? How many? Think about it. How many cases? Every single case, it's like, oh, we got Maya's Law, we got Cody's Law, we got Angel's Law, we got Ariel Sellers' Law, we all these laws, but how many actually pass through? How many actually make a change? And some of the cases, yes, it does happen. You look at Athena Strand. Those laws actually passed because they had a family member, somebody pushing those lawmakers, somebody pushing the public until laws were actually drafted and until the laws actually went through. We got to be harder on these cases and stop losing interest. We got to stop losing interest as soon as somebody is arrested. We've got to follow it through to the end. We've got to follow it through until change is actually made, because otherwise we're going to keep failing these children over and over and over and over and over again. Don't forget about Maya. I don't want to be in a situation where we're covering so many cases that 6 months down the road, I'm sitting there going, what was that baby's name? The one where the entire family was arrested. What was her name? What was her name? But that's what happens because we look at so many of these cases that we forget. We forget the smallest among them. We forget the ones that don't have drama involved. We forget the cases that don't have the spectacles that Sebastian Rogers' case has or Summer Wells' case has. We forget about them. And then the lawmakers have no reason to actually change anything. Why should they? We don't actually care. We're angry today. We're angry today about what happened, but are we going to stay angry until the change is made tomorrow? So this petition here is about this, and it says, who protects the children? Children and babies born into unsafe family or care. The system fails where it is weak. Too often children are the ones who suffer. They have no voice. They have no options. It is up to us as a society to help step in and protect those who cannot protect themselves. We have a system to help prevent and fight crime and protect each other as best we can. It does not always work, but we do the best we can. The system often struggles with limited resources and not enough help in many gray areas and multi-factor situations. We cannot allow the faults in our systems to continue to affect the innocent children. We have to fight them as much as possible. So most of us are now aware of the story of Miya Rudd. If not, she was an innocent baby whose life was cut short due to drug-addicted parents. I do not know the circumstances around her death. It doesn't matter. The outcome for Miya was a loss that she never had a choice on. Maya's umbilical cord tested positive for meth when she was born, but her parents left the hospital prior to that coming back. Maya's parents, however, had previously lost custody of their other children. My proposal is this: an effort to do all we can to protect the innocent. We should set a law, Maya's law, that prevents parents whom have lost custody of children and have not been able to regain that custody from keeping newly born children. There needs to be a plan in place to make sure that these parents are clean, able to pass drug tests, and court-ordered programs to gain custody of their children back. It's not a law to prevent family from being together. It's a law to protect the innocent from a very lost and unsafe parent or home. Why are people able to just keep procreating and taking these babies home after they already don't have custody of a child? How is that a thing? This might not be the best written petition. It might not be, drafted as a law. It might not be whatever that you're looking for. But the point is there. Why is this able to happen? She was born with drugs in her system. In her umbilical cord, there was drugs. Why was she able to leave the hospital with parents who already did not have custody of other children? Shouldn't they have had to hold her until the umbilical cord test came back to verify that there was no drugs? Shouldn't there have been a situation where CPS was instantly involved to make sure that the mom was taking her home to a safe and healthy home? Considering the fact that her home was deemed not to be safe and healthy for the 3 siblings? A baby, a newborn, cannot get up and do anything for themselves. You look at a child that's 4, 5 years old, they can get their own drink. They can make their own sandwich if they have to. They can grab something out of the fridge if they're hungry. A newborn can't even move. A newborn can't even move on their own free will. She can't lift her head. She can't do anything. And we're sending her home to a home that was already deemed to be unfit for 3 children. To parents that were already deemed to be unfit. Why? If it's not safe for the 5-year-old, how is it safe for the newborn? How is it safe for the newborn? It does not make sense to me. But this happens day after day after day after day in this country. And it's mind-blowing. I'm not saying that people who lose custody of their kids should never be able to fight to have custody back. Get yourself better. Get yourself clean. Fight for your children. Fight for your ability to have your children, right? But get yourself clean. There needs to be protections for these children, though, from the people who have already failed once. So that's it. Let me share this petition with you guys. If you want to sign it, please feel free to sign it and share it. Do not donate to it. It'll ask you to donate. Hit no, I'll share instead. Do not donate, because all that money does is go to whatever this company is. I can never even remember what it's called. Change.org. All it does is go to change.org. It does nothing to help the actual cause. But maybe this can make it to a lawmaker. Maybe this can make it to somebody in this community who can help push for Kentucky to have a change, who can help push for the laws there to change so that these children in future situations, because I guarantee you that there are more people on drugs that have lost custody of children that are pregnant right now, or that are looking at a situation where they're going to be leaving a hospital with a baby soon. There needs to be change so that there's not another Miya. Push for that. Push for that change. So anyways, guys, I hope I will be live tomorrow. My husband woke up from his nap, and so he wants to go get some ice cream. So that's what we're going to go do. And I will talk to you all tomorrow, hopefully, about the Stearns paperwork. I have all 896 pages, and it's disgusting. The whole thing is just disgusting, but we're going to look through it, because people need to recognize whenever they're living with a predator. So, love you all, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.